Yep, today is St. Patty's Day, March 17th, 2018. And this is Daily Reflections and Daily Motivation. I've got two different live feeds going on right now. So if you see me going back and forth, there you can talk to each other. Just kidding. Anyway, my name is Jeffrey Jansen, and I am in Oklahoma City today. So we were actually over at the Cox Center, over at the Renaissance in Oklahoma City, in the heart of Oklahoma. And I want each and every one of you first know that you matter and you're important, okay? Second, the daily reflections. The reason why I was just thinking about it, certain things is I was looking back lately on my life, and I was looking back at certain things that brought me to who I am today, things that were important. You know, and a lot of people already know about my daughter. They know about, what motivates me with her. She's my reason why. My father, a lot of people know my mother died of cancer back in 1990. But a lot of people don't know of the in-between stories. And one of the stories, before we go into the motivational stuff today, is more of how God kind of looks out for us. And how no matter what we do in life, there's always a purpose and a reason for what's going on. So I'm going to share to you a quick story of somebody that is dear to my heart. And her name is Kitty. And what it was is when I went in the Marine Corps and I got stationed over at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And this was around 1999 that we went to base at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. So we went on the base and everything else, and we were all the oorah motivational Marines, going in there, hard chargers, going to take on the world. The only thing about it is we're all 18 years old, we were young, none of us had vehicles whatsoever. And at that time, taxi cabs, you basically called on the base. Well, if anybody knows anything about Camp Lejeune, it takes forever to get on and off that base. So what happened was basically our first week there, probably within the first 2 days, we decided to get off and go take a look at the city and everything. So I called up the yellow cab service and I called for a cab. Well, we weren't really paying attention. Like 5 cabs came, and there's no way to know. They didn't say who was going to be the person. And I was getting ready to get another cab, and this lady gets out, and she goes, "What did you say your name was?" And I go, "Jeff." Anyway, she just went crazy on the other cab driver because they were trying to get a free fare. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Don't worry, there's a point to this story, I promise. So, anyway, I was like, okay. So I went up to her cab and got in, and she just was blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I asked her name. Her name was Kitty. Turned out, instead of being bitter and mean and everything else, she was explaining, like, respect. She goes, if you do something, you got to keep your word. And that's even if you're calling, because these people make money and that's how they make money. I didn't realize sometimes how bad that business is when it comes to, they have your on times, your off times. Anyway, and Kitty, I told her who I was and where the family I came from. We just started talking. And she goes, "So where are you going to go?" And I go, "I just kind of wanted to see Jacksonville, North Carolina, and, go down and see the other bases." So we started talking and everything else, and she's an older lady, and probably one of the nicest ladies that you could ever meet in the world, but, she was a smoker, and she had a dog, and, well, it turned out I got to know this lady really well, and she introduced me to her family. And no, it wasn't anything like romantic or anything like that. It was just like, like an aunt or something taken on. And she could see that, sometimes people, they're good. And I got to meet, that's where I got to meet the Pittman family and how great that family is. And my friend Martha and her daughter, and Mitty and Lainey and, Alvin. And, I got to meet this whole entire family. Anyway, so as we got to do it, I got to meet them, talk with them, go to church with them. It's the first time I went to a Baptist church, actually. I'm a Catholic, of course, I believe in God and Jesus, but I went to a Baptist church. They were a Baptist family. I met several really good friends. That's when I was also going to Campbell University, to do different things at Campbell University, and had a good time doing it. So, needless to say, after I got out of the military, I meant to go back, and I still stayed in touch with Kitty and her entire family and everything else, and I'm still in touch to this day every once in a while with the family. But a couple years ago, I got a email telling me that Kitty had moved on, and she passed on in life. And I always felt bad because she wasn't just somebody I met in the Marine Corps, she was a friend of mine. And she was a good friend of mine. And we should never take for granted those people that come into our life, because probably if it wasn't for her, my entire Marine Corps career would have been a lot different. It would have been miserable. I wouldn't have had any outside influences on how I treated everybody, you know? I mean, we get these oorah feelings all the time, and these feelings of, yeah, we got to go out there. But then our families level us. And sometimes family's not about blood. It's not about... Family's about those that are there when everybody else walks out. It's about those that are there to hold you up out of the fire. They're the ones that save you when you're drowning. They're the ones that listen to you when nobody else wants to listen to you. They're the ones that stay connected, knowing that you're going around in circles, but they're trying to let you know that, you know, they may not know what to do. They're there to help you do whatever it is you figured out you need to do. And that is a story of my friend Kitty Bolton, who passed on several years ago, and who was loved by me and had a family and everything like that. But, you know, her memory will live on with her family, but it's also going to live on with this Marine that, you know, she took from nothing and, you know, just gave me an ear to talk to and befriend and everything else. So that's my story of Kitty. Now, let's get into daily reflections, because then I've got to get going, because I've got to get it over to my meeting. But what are you thankful for? What are your reflections today? What are your affirmations? Now, I want to say my affirmations. I wrote them down. You're supposed to write them down every day. Okay. And my affirmation is, first off, I love my daughter Gracie with my entire heart. I love my dad. Now, what's funny is my dad will never see any of these. He's not an internet person. He's not online or anything else. But I love my dad with my entire heart. My sister has always been my biggest supporter. So is my brother-in-law. I've got 3 of the most beautiful nephews in the entire world. My sister's sister, you know, or my sister, yeah, my sister's, my daughter's sister, who's almost like a daughter to me. I love her with my entire heart also. It's not about who's blood all the time. It's about who's family. And we must always remember that children are never to blame for what the parents go through. We must remember to tell people we love them every day, that we care about them. We must make a difference. Don't just go out somebody because they're a great motivator. People that got money need to have love too. People that are motivators sometimes need to have influence also. People that are on the street need you to tell them that they matter, that you care. There are people you're sitting next to in church and you're sitting there praising God and everything else, and you don't know the person right next to you is the one that needs a hug the most. They're the ones that just need you to be like, you know, Jesus, you know, you can be in church and that person that's the most depressed, that needs you more than anything else, can be sitting right next to you, and you don't know it because you're not, even though you're focused, God wants, and Jesus wants you to focus on the people around you so that He can live through you with them. There's Red. Tim! So, with your daily reflections and your daily motivation, you know, you got to treat people with respect. Don't treat them because they got money, they don't have money. You never know who's going to need you more than anybody else in life. You never know how important you are until there's that one person that you make a difference in their life, and you'll never even know who they are. So, make sure you get out today, stay motivated, stay energized. I've got to go get my name badge. I want each and every one of you to know you matter, you're important, and I will talk to everybody soon, and we will do live again later on today. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. Pinch as many people as you can, and I'll talk with everybody later.